All right, welcome back to another episode of this week's Drop. I'm Sidney Smith with my co-host, my brother over here,
David Greaves.
What's up, bro?
Good, sir.
What you laughing at over there, man?
It's a Happy New Year. Clapping.
Happy New Year. Hey, you guys get another week of Happy New Year. After we get into week 3, stop saying Happy New Year to people.
Yeah.
This is another episode of this week's Drop. Like I was just saying, I'm Sidney Smith. It's my brother, David Greaves. Thank you guys for jumping in here with us again. We got a great show lined up for you. Before we get into it, I got a couple announcements that I got to make. One, way early on it, but I want people to know so you can put it on your calendar. November 8th, I will be shooting my second and third comedy special all in the same night. And I'll be doing that right here in Chandler in the Metro Phoenix area, or Phoenix Metro area, however you want to say it. Do it all in one night at Mic Drop Mania. Tickets will go on sale this summer. So jump on, join my newsletter on my website, Sidney Smith Creative, CRE8TV.com. Because we want you to be there and be a part of that. So looking forward to that.
Must be.
Speaking of comedy specials, thank everybody out there who have watched my first one. I dropped it in March of last year, and we were right about 190,000 views.
Yes, let's get to 200, 250.
If you don't know what that number means, that's a big number. There are people who are bigger in comedy than I am at the present moment, people who are attached to bigger names, people who have larger production houses putting their stuff out. And their numbers aren't touching that number at all. So I'm very proud of that number.
Hey, with your chest.
And thank you guys very much for helping me get there. And thank you guys for subscribing to the channel and helping this grow. And thank you guys for watching our podcast and everything else that you find housed here. Check out my new YouTube channel called You Hear Good Things, where you can find this podcast and my other podcast too. So go find that and check that out.
Don't you got comedy on there also?
No comedy on that one. This is going to be strictly
Just
pods. My Murderous True Crime podcast. This pod is there. The podcast with my wife running in slow motion, which will be coming back. And then I have another true crime pod that I'll drop once we get all of the catalogs from the other. I got a lot of podcast episodes, man. So once I get all of those uploaded to the YouTube, then we'll start launching some newer episodes. So thank you guys very much again for supporting all of that and letting me say all of that. And now to get to the rest of the show.
Yeah.
Subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you love and like what you watch, I'm no shame here to ask you to also share us and share the content with someone else.
We love it all.
And again, thank you guys. If you want to come out and see me any other time before the special, CitySmithCreative.com. I keep all my dates there. Man, I feel like there's so much to say. This is the part of it that, man, drives me nuts because I know you guys want us to get straight to the content, but we be doing bad business if we didn't do that.
Got to make the money work.
Right, and so let us have one more.
Yeah.
Dave, what you got coming up, bro?
I have some firearms classes. First, women's empowerment, 1st of February.
Awesome.
We have CCW classes all the time. Check it out on davidsmark.com. davidsmark.com.
DAVIDS mark.com.
Like Rolaids.
All right. Okay. So we're going to move on. Like Rolaids. All right, man. The first thing I want to get into, and it's a bad transition because we were just laughing, but the California fires.
Yeah.
You and I were talking while I was making coffee when you got here. I'll speak for myself. I cannot think of anything in recent memory that I could draw from and say what this looks like in America.
Yeah.
It is one of the most disastrous things that I think a lot of us have ever seen in our lifetimes. And I've been I have friends there like a lot of us do. You have family there. Mm-hmm. We've been trying to stay in contact with them, make sure people are safe, and hearing what they're going through and also actually seeing the video.
Yeah.
Just can't think of anything that I've seen, anything close to that in this country.
It reminds me of the Maui fires.
Okay.
When it just took off.
This seems worse than that.
Yes, it does. Well, Maui was a town.
Yeah.
And this is like, normally you hear about fires in California all the time. But normally they're up in the woods or north.
Yep.
And it's not a bunch of homes. This was like blocks being, destroyed. And it was
You're talking about 5 fires in LA County.
Yes.
Bananas.
It's and when I first saw it yesterday, I was like, oh, this is for real. Because again, you hear about fires all the time.
Mm-hmm.
This one hit a little closer to home. I called my daughter, called some friends and family, and was like, "You guys good? You need anything?" They're like, "Well, it's not close, but the smoke is, all over the place.
Well, so I have friends out there, and seeing them post what they're posting. I'm not going to mention their names because that's their business, but seeing that their homes are completely gone.
Yes. Yes.
They're up in the Pacific Palisades areas.
I just saw some people looting. They have people looting, and I'm like, there's a special place in hell for you.
100% a special place in hell for you. And what are you looting?
Yeah.
Because homes and businesses, everything is being taken down. The biggest problem, a couple of big problems they're having, is that they're running out of water.
Yeah.
Because, and for people who want to politicize it, they're not running out of water because this wasn't done and that wasn't done. They're running out of water because there are 4 or 5 fires
At the same time. Yeah.
And listening to them speak about it this morning, they are equipped to deal with maybe 2 fires at once.
Yeah.
We're talking about 5.
Yeah.
And we're talking about a fully staffed fire department.
Yeah.
Now they're sending
one of the biggest fire departments in the country.
Yes.
I think behind LA, maybe. I mean, New York, maybe.
Gavin Newsom said this morning that Oregon, Utah, and Arizona are sending engines
backups
and firefighters to come
they can't do it alone. And again, normally it's up further in the mountains.
Yes.
So it's bush, but this is in residential areas.
100%.
Blocks.
And that's why I say when you
houses.
talk about Hollywood, the Hollywood Hills,
Yeah.
we're talking about the Pacific Palisades.
Yeah, you're talking about some real money.
You're talking about real money.
Yeah.
They're affected as well as other people are affected. I know folks over there who are part of crews who have been affected, whether their homes have caught fire or, to your point, the smoke is so bad that they have been told, get the hell out of here, and have had to stay someplace else for the last 2 or 3 nights.
Literally on the way coming here, I was talking to my boy, and he told me that the whole week they're off because of the fires.
I know. Saw the Comedy Store, which is near and dear to my heart, put a post out yesterday saying that they're going to be shut down today and tomorrow.
They're actually talking about moving the game.
Yes, the game to
I
here.
think it's going to be to Phoenix.
Yeah,
Glendale.
So it is. So the reason I wanted to bring it up, not just to talk about the horrendous sites that we're all getting able to see and the posts that people are putting up and the things that they're sharing, is you and I were having a discussion, which is why we couldn't record yesterday. We were having an off-camera discussion, hour and a half or so.
Yeah, it was good.
It was good talk.
Yeah.
But, and I hate to see something like this in this manner, and I hope I don't offend anyone out there who's been directly affected. But when you're sitting in your own world and worried about your own shit and lightweight complaining about whatever.
It humbles you.
It does, man. When you can finally pick your head up and say, holy shit, there's a whole planet here. It's not just me on this planet. There's a whole population here.
And somebody else is going through we always say somebody else is going through the same shit or worse than you are.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, like I tell people, come volunteer, because you will then forget whatever you got going on. And it's serving. Again, anything that you do in service of somebody else removes your thought process about how bad you have.
This is true.
You've been out a couple times.
I was just going to say, Tamara and I've come out a couple of times, and it does your heart good too to come out and do it. And so I wish, and I'm not going to say we don't have the time. I wish we would just make more time, and we should. So that'll be a conversation that she and I have. But it does do you good to not only get a chance to be there and see, again, it's so selfish when you talk about it, to see how good you have it compared to others, but you also get to see the human side of those people that we drive past every single day.
Yeah. As we say, see, smell, and taste it sometimes. It hits home.
Okay.
Either you won't want to stop doing it, or it'll break you and you can't do it anymore. I've had people that come out and they're volunteering, they're weeping. And then they're like, I can't do it, but I'm going to, give money. I'm going to help. I'm going to do whatever, but I can't be this close to it.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. It shakes some people. We had a minister, my old pastor came out, and he literally was in a car. He was like, they're in wheelchairs. They're missing legs and limbs. And it was like, yeah. He was like, I didn't know this existed here. We pass it all the time.
That's what I'm saying.
When we get off the exits, and you just think, oh, that might be somebody scamming or somebody doing this or that. But there's some real hurt out here.
And I was going to say, I don't know what the ratio number looks like. But I gotta think that the amount of people who are scamming is minuscule to the amount of people who are really feeling it. And the other thing you get a chance to see is how bad the mental health issue is for a lot of these people who are out there.
There's a documentary called The Bootmaker or the Tent Maker.
Okay.
If you ever watch it, they explain that nobody wants to be homeless.
Right.
And if you're in that predicament, it takes you about 10 days for your brain to click, to kind of understand I'm here and I got to do whatever I got to do. Because nobody in their right mind says, oh, I'm going to sleep on the sidewalk today. I'm going to sleep in my car again tonight. I mean, we've both been in situations where we've had to sleep in the car, but having to do it repeatedly, get up, wash, and go in the bathroom and clean, it does something to your psyche, and it digs into the inner core of you. So could you imagine it when you're pregnant or you have kids?
I'm going to say, listening, and I want to watch this documentary, and it's called The Tent Maker.
Yeah, I think it's called The Tent Maker.
If you out there, if you've seen it, let us know. Drop it into the comments. As Marcellus Wiley would say, beat it up. Beat it up in the comments. Let us know what you're thinking.
Steal that from him.
Hey, man, I try to steal what I think is good. I steal and try to use it. What you're speaking about sounds almost like the same thing you would say about people who go to jail. Yeah. Almost like you've been institutionalized.
Yes. Same thing. Because you have to, mentally, when you're confined or you're in a spot where you don't have the ability to do what you would normally do, it's uncomfortable, and you have to transform your mind to be okay with being locked up or being homeless or being, in a situation, in any situation that's not a positive one, it's got to be hard and mentally challenging. And we don't think about it, we think everybody is addicted to drugs or, did something.
Absolutely. And I think that is a quick snapshot that you have in your mind when, again, not to beat a dead horse, but when you're driving down the road, or when you stop that dead red light. Now, I have material that I use on stage.
Yes, the dog.
But that is something that I've used because, and it works. People laugh.
Yes.
That's because that's something that
we all think about. Yeah. We all think about it.
So it's it's a general thought that we all have. But going back to what you were saying about coming down, helping, and everything, when I came down to assist, and I didn't do much. I was amazed at how much you guys had going. Everything from getting people's clothes to getting people haircuts to there was a ton of food that was being served. I saw people coming through 2-3 times through the line, and there was still food, enough food to go around. But there was one young kid, I just remember saying something to him along like, man, you got a hell of an appetite. Because I think he came through that line and got 3 full trays.
Because think that the food sometimes, I mean,
it was like food too.
Yeah, it's just like jail. Like, how much of it's not top of the line food. It's just food. No, I'm talking about when you're in jail or something like that. I think we'd had
bro, there was ribs,
brisket, and something like that. Yeah, it was a good old
barbecue menu.
Bro, we
homemade mac and cheese.
We run out of everything in about 45 minutes right now. We serving 300 people in 45 minutes, and it's gone.
Wow,
it would blow your mind right now. As bad as it was then, it's worse now.
I would not be surprised given what has happened since then to now, and how many more people have been pushed out. Yeah. Especially because we're talking about in our area where we only seen home prices and rent just skyrocket.
I think the eviction rate is the highest it's ever been this year.
And I think they started that as soon as they could, right after COVID was over, and they lifted all the protections.
Yeah. They just...
Because I think once they lifted the protections, people had to come up with that back rent right now.
Yeah.
And if you didn't have it for those months, you got to go.
Yeah.
Which in part for some of the landlords I can understand because they have to pay the mortgage still. Yes. And
I do understand that part of it. The part is the raising of rents. Like we went through one of the highest rent increases because we had an influx of people come in from out of state because they were like, hey, man, Arizona's warm all year round. So they all moved here. And when they could work from home, they moved here. So they were getting the money, but it didn't help the people on a fixed income.
Right.
You know, if you're Social Security or your income is only X amount, you can't afford more than what you would be paying, because there's people paying rent more than my mortgage right now.
Oh, yes, there are
almost double my mortgage for less than my house.
Same.
So I'm like, these are the things that you said. Sometimes it's got to be made plain, and then you go, oh man, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. I always say, I got a place to live, I got a house, I got a food. I'm never going to run out of food. Never
going to run out of food. And going back to the fires in California, the thing that I was trying to figure out, what the hell happened and how did it get this bad so quickly? And
dry.
Because this time of year, they should be getting dumped on by rain, and they haven't. And they say not just this year or this time period, but this has been a problem that's been matriculating in this direction.
We're luckier here. We get most of our fires in the north.
Yes.
But they also get snow, and they get a full year of cycled, where in California, it might not rain. I never say Arizona, it doesn't rain here, but up in the north, it rains.
Yeah, don't let that Tony song fool you. Because the other thing they said is the issue is that now this is also the time of year for the sun and the winds. Yeah.
So that's what's really blowing it is I think they were saying 80 mile an hour winds.
100.
Yeah.
So 100, and with that wind coming through, and they said it's died down a little bit today, but they're expecting it may pick back up tomorrow.
That's what they can't even fly. They can't bring the planes up. If they had the water, they can't bring the planes up because of the winds, the helicopters and stuff like that.
They had to sit them. They had to sit them. So today they're able to get out and do a little flyover to dump some water, but it's horrible. I hate to see friends of mine going through it in any capacity. Obviously, you have family there, and thankfully, anyone I know is safe. Yes, and I think as far as you said,
life overrules everything else. But I haven't lost my house to a fire, so I get it. That I'm saying you're alive, and that's all that matters.
I've never lost a house to a fire either, but you just made me think about something. To lose your house to a fire and to actually be standing there watching it happen. Yeah.
Everything that you own, gone.
And then to pile on top of that, the water pressure being so low that the fire department can't even put it out.
And they're at the point where they said, first and foremost, they structures, but it's life. Now we're just saving life. We're not even worried about structures. We can't do anything with the structures. So
yeah, I was watching the fire captain say that their water pressure was so low they couldn't do much. So they were trying to go out and save people. And what water they did have, they were trying to soak whatever building's next to to try to hopefully keep that fire from spreading. So that's the only thing that they could do. They showed some footage on CNN this morning where a woman had a water hose out trying to put something out in their backyard. So my heart goes out. Yes. I know we talk a lot.
Keep them in prayers. Keep California in prayers, really.
Yeah, I know we talk a lot about, you joke with me about me not having empathy, but like I said before, there's certain things, man, I see
just hit differently.
Yeah, you'd have to be just cold-blooded. Jimmy Carter.
Yes.
The peanut.
Yeah. That's what he's known as, the peanut farmer.
Jimmy Carter. So let me start here. I want to start here. I'm a political junkie. First got interested in it during Ronald Reagan's time, so I was young. So I don't have a lot to draw from in terms of my own experience, emotions, and things like that when we're talking about Jimmy Carter. I just know what I know about him through history and things like that. You may be able to speak more to his time in office, obviously, than I can possibly.
Damn, you call me old?
No, not at all. You just, you were here before. But take that part away, because people have their feelings about Jimmy Carter.
One way or the other,
That dude was a great man.
Yeah. This is when you say your legacy.
Yes.
That is...
him and his wife both.
Yes. Just everybody was like, they were good people.
Yes.
Really good people. Above everything else, they were good people. People in the town are like, listen, they would come and sit and just talk and, have conversations about everything. So...
and doing everything for other people to the very end.
Yes. He was 100 years old.
But he was still out homes of
building homes. I think
what's the name of the
home, Habitat for Homes.
Yes.
Habitat
still
for
out
Humanity.
there swinging hammers.
Yes. Jimmy Carter.
He hadn't been in the White House in years, but he was still flying overseas trying to negotiate peace and all these different things because,
that was him.
Even though you're not in the White House, that still carries a little gravitas in certain areas.
Still, he was the president of the United States, and people, they know that he can make phone calls or people are going to listen. He got connections. Like if I call the White House, they're going to be like, "Who are you?" Yes. So you do have some weight that you can pull around. And he was just, again, people loved him and liked him because he stood for what he stood for, and he stood 10 toes down, as they say.
Absolutely. So I wanted to bring this up not just to talk about Jimmy Carter, though God bless the dead, rest in peace, a great man, not a great president only to some, but a great man.
Yes.
A lot of us can only look at that as an example and try to chase it on the type of person you should be. The other part I wanted to talk about was while I was sitting here trying to get some things done for the show, I had YouTube going and I was clicking around because I wanted to get it from everybody's perspective. MSNBC, who Morning Joe's perspective, who I'm not a fan of theirs anymore, but I said I want to get it from everybody.
Yes.
So MSNBC, CNN, and Fox.
Okay. Yeah, you got to get the whole complete.
Yeah, I wanted to get it from all three of these goofballs. And so the one thing I'm always fascinated by is when something like this is happening and they're all talking, the talking heads are speaking while they're watching. They just talk over the top of each other. Yes. And that always cracks me up. But Fox News, I just have to share this. I don't know who the woman was, but she says, "Can you, do you know how they decided the order of how the people were going to sit?" And I could only think that this woman had a hard time in like second or third grade. Because if you're just watching this,
it's in presidential
order. In order of
it's in presidential order.
I was, what is wrong with this woman that you had nothing else to say? You just had to ask a question.
Because it's always, well, how come he has to sit there and why isn't he sitting front? This is where he fell.
It's in order of.
Yeah. The current president, the last president, the president before him. It's not that difficult.
Well, so there was a couple of humorous things for me while I was watching this. And then there was some moments where I was enraged. All right. And I was enraged because my man, President Barack Obama, had to sit next to Trump. And you want to talk about, all I could think about was being the only black guy at a dinner party. And somehow the person that nobody wants to talk to always ends up sitting next to you, talking your ear off. Trump was talking Barack's ear off. And I'm sitting here trying to get my work done, but I can't take my eyes off these two, even though the camera is getting everybody.
Yes.
No, Barack is chuckling with them a little bit. Like Barack knows how to play the game. So when
he's been the only black one in the room, so he knows how to.
Exactly. So Barack came in, he shook hands with Gore, Mike Pence, Dan Quayle was there. Either his or Gore's wife was sitting there too, with all of them. Never shook hands with Trump, but he sat right next to Trump and he opened up whatever, you guys know the little book that you get when you're, not the obituary. I mean, I think the obituary is in there, but he opens it up and kind of leans in and he starts showing something to Trump and they're chatting about that. But after that, it's all Trump and just like chuckling it up in his ear, and Barack is rolling with it. When the George Bush comes in, George Bush walks in on this end and walks right past Trump and Melania and Barack and doesn't shake hands with Trump or anything. Says hello to Barack and then says hello to everybody behind them and then takes a seat. Never says anything. The Clintons come in. The Clintons could have came down this aisle, but she walked all the way around the front and came and sat. Then Kamala came in with her husband, came around. She was supposed to sit in this seat, which would have put her about 2 o'clock to Barack and Trump right here. I think she saw what was happening and shifted her husband in front of her and made him take that seat and never wanted to make eye contact back there. So it was just crazy to kind of watch.
The what do they call that? Physical.
Yeah, just watch the moves and how everybody treat. I know if Pence had his way, because when Trump comes walking down, Al Gore pops up right away. and shakes his hand, and Pence is sitting right next to Al Gore. So now Pence has to stand up
and
shake his hand. I know Pence would have motherfucker.
Just make him reach down and shake your hand.
Sit your ass down. What are you doing?
He's trying to get a job. He don't like climate control, so you're not getting a job. So I don't know why.
But you and I were talking about it. It is, not to overuse this word either, fascinating to watch these people who've gone back and forth, said all these different things about one another. For me, and how I feel about the man, Trump has said some of the most disgusting things when you talk about Barack Obama and you talk about the things he said about Kamala Harris when he was running against her. And one, to have him in Barack's ear, joking and laughing like they were like we all good. And then to have him leering, I'm gonna say leering, at Kamala when she comes in. It was a lot for me, man. It bothered me a lot. And I'm not trying to hog the airtime, so I apologize. But it was a lot. I just want to give you the picture of it all. But it was a lot for me to watch this dude.
Sometimes, it amazes me how folks always make it about them. And it was about Jimmy Carter. And I heard some things he said
about
Jimmy Carter. And I was like, the man is buried. He's not even buried yet, and you're beseeching his name, or have to say something. Your mama said, if you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. And again, but that's just the political differences. That's all for show, and they tell you all the time that the Democrats and the Republicans, these dudes are all eating at the same place. Yeah. They all live next to each other. They go to the same country clubs. They just got to put on the front for everybody on TV.
I think that's true, except for when you throw Trump into the mix.
Yeah, because he lowballs a lot of people. He does some.
Again, you saw everybody for the most part getting along with each other, but people were bypassing Trump if they had a choice.
You remember when he was his first presidency? Like, he would go overseas and do stuff, and you could see like folks pushing to get in front, or he would get in front of folks.
Yeah.
It just an awkwardness of not understanding how things work. And I get the outsider appeal to folks, but the machine works a certain way. And if you're coming in and you don't know how the machine works and you're just going to do it your way, you're always going to get the short end of the stick in not understanding that some things need to be greased. Some people play the game nice. I mean, just the stuff he's talking about, annexing Greenland and Canada and taking the Panama. Stop. What for what? What are you doing?
Well, someone made a great point. I want to say it was someone on CNN late last night made a great point, which is while we're all discussing Greenland, Canada, they're in rooms trying to figure out how to give these tax cuts to billionaires.
Yes.
And you and I talked about this. I said this, and I'll say it, and my reason for this, and I'll give you my reason for this. I hope one of the first things he does is let out all of the January 6th rioters. Not because I don't believe they're insurrectionists. I actually am so far to the end of when it comes to them, I believe they're traitors to this country, and they all should have been executed. But that's where I am when it comes to this country.
Just stick up. You staring. I'm not mad at you, bro. I understand.
It's treason.
Yes.
It's treason to try to overthrow your government.
Yes, it is. Yes, yes.
And so I want them treated the same way I wanted the WikiLeaks guy treated, who leaked the fucking documents.
Didn't they just let him off? They tapped him on his.
Which pissed me off.
Yeah,
I want him treated the same way that you should treat anyone who was in the military, like you.
Yes, and divulge secrets.
Stole secrets.
Yeah,
off with your head is where I'm at for all of it.
It would stop it,
but since we're not going to do that, what I want to happen is release them all. I want to see if you have the balls to do it. And then when you do it, I want to look at anyone who wears the badge who voted for you.
Yeah.
Just like when they get to talking about trying to cut Medicare, Social Security.
Yes.
I want to look at all of you folks who voted for him, who depend on Social Security.
Now what? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because you fell for the okie doke.
Yes. And it's an obvious okie doke.
We're not going to tax Social Security. Why wouldn't you tax Social Security? How are we going to run things if we're not taxing people?
Yeah.
And why would we not tax one of the largest populations of the country?
And understand that the biggest hit to the budget is Social Security. So
100%.
they keep talking about privatizing it and doing this and doing that. So you're going to put my money into
The markets
that have notoriously failed. Yes, it might make great money right now, but what happens when it fails?
But it only fails because if you put the wrong person in charge of it, you know what? Let's go ahead and take this risk.
Yeah.
And then it's not there for people. Now, I'm one who's not sure if the money's going to be there 20 years from now.
No.
But they've been saying that,
Yes.
every 20 years since
They keep finding the money somehow. Just like they found billions of dollars to send to Ukraine or billions of dollars to send to Israel. So
I say let them out because I want to see everybody's face when we let them all out.
Bro, we talk about the first 2 years. I'm looking forward to everybody getting what they deserve.
Yes.
And I'm ecstatically so, even though I know it's going to harm me. I can't wait for some folks to realize that they don't care about you either.
Well, and there's that part. So that's the other part I was going to say. So does anyone out there who voted for him to lower the price of groceries, to lower the price of gas, do you any of you ever wonder why he didn't? I didn't hear anything about Canada, and that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. We're going to annex Canada and make it the 51st state. That's just dumb. Greenland, he didn't say anything about Greenland. The Panama Canal. And, oh, wait a minute. And we're going to change the name of Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America as if we have, all you got to do is just take some white out and do it. I want you, as you said, to get what you got coming.
The wall. Again, the wall was the biggest thing the first time around. I'm going to get them to pay for it. And I was like, who? Mexico's going to, and you beat 20 feet. Well, they made them stop it. It never was going to happen. You're not stopping people from coming in because they do too much to make this country move.
And let me say this, just in case you've never seen my special, because I had people come at me about this on my special. I'm an actual conservative. Mm-hmm. I'm an actual lifelong Republican until halfway through the Orange Dude's first term. So I'm a Republican with this skin. Yeah. That dude doesn't know anything about being a Republican, doesn't know anything about saving money, doesn't know anything about politics at all, was a lifelong contributor to the Democratic Party, including Chuck Schumer and others of his ilk. Yeah. So before you come at me today, tomorrow, or anytime, I am a real conservative. I am what the Republican Party used to be, minus their skin color. Yeah. All right? So make sure you know that before you come at me and I have to bury you. Yeah. But beat that up in the comments, though. Yes.
But be aware that we love politics.
We
love history. You better know what you're talking about.
We just don't talk about it on this pod because we try to stay away from it. Yes. But Jimmy Carter's funeral and watching Trump in Barack Obama's ear, though you've been blazing this black man and trying to make your way on his back.
Yes. That's really what made him pop, because we knew Donald Trump, but he kept talking about, well, we don't know if he's able to be president. Is he legal? All of that stuff. Yes. So that's what really catapulted him countrywide.
Yes.
So, and never really apologized for that.
And you'll never get one out of him. Yeah. But y'all go ahead and keep on talking about, listening to this crap about we're going to take back the Panama Canal and we're going to annex Canada.
It's three-card Monty is what I call it.
100%.
They're getting you to look over here 100%. While they do this over here.
100%. So, don't forget about we getting rid of all of the immigrants. Wait a minute. No, not all of them. Yeah. We still want the ones in Silicon Valley. All right, so we got to make sure we have those visas for them.
Yeah, the people who clean and wash dishes and cut your food up and all the rest of that. We don't want all of them going.
You're not getting rid of it. You're not getting rid of anybody because Elon Musk told you to sit your orange ass down somewhere.
Yeah, but we gonna let these other immigrants in with these college degrees.
That's what I'm saying. Not all of them.
They're not taking black jobs, so I ain't worried about it.
MAGA, y'all want them all out. Yeah, you want them all out.
But I ain't worried about it because they're not taking black jobs. They're not coming for my job. They coming for your job.
100%. And before we go, let me just say this last thing. Tim Scott, Byron Donaldson.
Yeah. Yes.
How you like him now? You black asses, you don't have a job anywhere in the administration.
Nothing more funny than the first 2 weeks of him putting up people. And I was like, well, he even gave Crazy Lady a job.
He found another black dude to give a job to that I had never heard of.
He gave this Crazy Lady a job.
Carrie Lake.
Yes.
Carrie Lake.
He gave her a job.
But the only blackface I saw so far he wanted to put up is some dude. I don't know where this dude came from, but it wasn't Tim Scott.
Yeah.
And it wasn't Byron Dowson.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
And I guess you can always put it on Byron because he has that marijuana charge from way back.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why, supposedly, but I love it. You went out here, you soft shoed, and Tim Scott, you showed your gums for the last 18 months.
Looked like Ocho.
You got nothing out of it. Nothing. You two knuckleheads need to go start a podcast too, just like Ted Cruz with it because you're useless.
Yes.
You've been neutered.
Yes.
You've been neutered. Go get a podcast. Call it Three Dummies. The two of you and Ted Cruz. Get it in.
Who let her call his wife up?
You let the man, Ted Cruz, the man call your wife ugly. Your father was part of the assassination of JFK. Right. And Byron and Tim Scott, you let this man make you dance. I don't know which one of you was dancing, which one of y'all was playing the violin, or maybe you alternated. But two clowns. Both of you should feel like two clowns.
Yeah. It was again, but this is part of that. You get what you pay for. I'm looking forward. Again, I'm sorry for the country, but I'm looking forward to the first two. I'm eagerly looking forward to the first two.
Love it.
Because sometimes you gotta get punched in your mouth.
What's the line from LL Cool J movie? What's the movie with Omar Epps when LL plays the drug dealer named God? Mm-hmm. Like it, love it. Mm-hmm. Like it when he get my man with the pool. Tim Scott. Yeah, like it.
Oh, that was a crazy movie too. That was crazy.
Yeah.
And I know that dude grew up with me. He used to live 2 doors down from me.
The dude to play the role.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Tim Scott, y'all go make some more lemonade. Get it all over to the boss over there, and maybe he'll have something for you to do later on down the road.
Wow. Yeah. We definitely getting some views on this one.
Soft shoeing bitch.
we gonna get 10,000 views now, boy.
Hey, can we change Tim Scott's name to soft shoeing bitch?
Oh, man.
Yeah,
we
yes. All right, let's move on to our next topic.
Oh, yeah. Getting a lot of red meat today, boy. Good. They're making it easy.
It ain't red meat. This is just me being honest about what I see.
Yeah.
And you soft shoed and yucked it up for this dude.
He was tap dancing. Yeah. Samboing type thing.
I ain't seen nothing this bad since how they make fun of the WB frog?
Oh, yeah.
To put the makeup on it.
Hello, my honey. Yeah. Yes. It used to be crazy, bro. Like that was overtly the WB was, what's black.
Listen. With the blackness, man.
Yes.
With the shows that they have, Homeboys in Space.
Yes. Listen. And then UPN, was like a lighter, but they was both hard. I'd be like, man.
WB was just coffee, just black.
It was straight black. It was straight, no cream.
UPN
it was a little cream. It was you had a little milk in it, stirred it up a little bit.
Homeboys in Outer Space.
Yes.
I want to see that shit again. All right. Fox Sports 1. Ooh. In the news all week long. Mm-hmm. You and I have been trying to talk about this. We're going to get through it today.
Yes.
Laying in bed with it first capped off. Joy Taylor. Skip Bayless, Emmanuel Acho, Charlie Dixon, executive at Fox Sports 1 at the time. I'm not sure if he's still there or not. And I'm laying there and I'm trying to watch everything I can because I can't go to sleep. It's so late. I didn't want to hit you with it. I hit you with it the next morning. Like, what? And we've just been engrossed in it.
It's everywhere.
So it is everywhere. You and I just want to get some highlights in on a few of the main players. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be wide open with this too. Mm-hmm. I don't like a lot of these people. We're going to start with Joy Taylor, who I've never cared for. And I'm going to tell you why I've never cared for her. Because I don't like women who are attractive, who clearly want to lean on that.
Yes.
but I don't.
But don't want to seem as if they're using it. For me,
I'm gonna give you guys just this quick story, real quick, and then I'll throw it to you. There's a comedian at one point in time here, and he actually still performs. I've seen him; he's gotten a lot better. But he came out. He was at an open mic, and this was an open mic I would go to. And a friend of mine used to run this open mic. He used to be the booker and everything for the clubs here. So I would go out to this mic, and we would sit and we would watch. And it was a cool thing because my buddy who booked the clubs would also write notes and give them to these people who hope to get in. It was like the only time anyone had ever heard of a booker actually doing this. So it was a good time. And he asked me, hey, man, I want you to come out, see everybody, and then every week go up on stage and give your critique of what you saw. And whether you did well, I would tell you. If you didn't do well, I would tell you. There was nights where I blazed the entire room. We had 30 comics get up, and they all sucked. And
you roasted them all.
Not roast, but if it was something like one particular night where I got on all of them was you keep coming with the exact same shit every single week, and it sucks every week, and I don't see you trying to make any changes to improve. Yeah. So that was just one. But I had a black comic come in, and it was very lazy comedy. Mm-hmm. It was if you've ever watched any open mic, you would have seen another black comic say the same joke. Yeah.
Softballs, that's what we call that.
So when I went up there, I said, hey, where's so-and-so? They say, oh, he's in the back. Tell him to come down front. And I made him come down front, and I gave him a chastising 2 or 3 minutes worth in front of the whole room. Mm-hmm. I had comics, veterans who were there too, like, I think he made that dude quit. And my thought process was, if he quit, then he wouldn't really do it. Yeah. And I'm bringing that up to say, because black comics are always surprised when another black comic who's a veteran comes at them and is a little harder than you are because you should, and we're the same, and we should whatever.
No, stop.
So I am always this way. I'm this way when it comes to black comics. I'm this way when it comes to gay comics who are from the LGBTQ community. If you're going to get up here and just state the obvious, which are easy jokes about, I told one comic, hey man, I know you're part of that community. What else do you have? Yeah. So when we're talking about the Joy Taylors of the world, we know you're pretty. Mm-hmm. What else do you got? Yeah. And when your bag is empty, then you leave me wanting for someone else to come and do this job.
Yes.
So I've never been a fan of Joy Taylor. I wondered where the hell she came from in the first place. And now with everyone talking, it sounds like she came out of nowhere because she was bartending in Miami before she made the move out there.
And doing part-time on a radio show.
So I said a lot there, but I just want to make sure everyone understood my dislike of Joy Taylor. But I'll let you jump in.
We always talked about her because you're just a pretty face, and whether you're a pretty face or not, there's no substance behind you. Mm-hmm. And now we understand allegedly why there was no substance behind you, because you were laying on your back to get allegedly positions, promotions, and were willing to do whatever you needed to do to get ahead. Okay, fine. And I have no problem with however you got there, but you got to be able to deal with the heat when it's exposed. Mm-hmm. And right now it's exposed. I need her to come out. And because I think the next day they had her all clothed up and buttoned up. And, it reminds me of the girl from AT&T. Oh. How the instant transformation, as soon as somebody complained, they transformed her into a whole different.
Well, they were sexually harassing that girl.
Yes,
that woman. I should say. Yes, they were coming at her, and I can't think of her name, but you're right. She's a beautiful woman.
Yes,
and she was using all of her endowments.
Yes,
so they were coming hardcore at her.
But she wasn't using it to get the AT&T commercial or anything else. Where every time I see Joy,
it's out there.
It's out there, and I loved it, but you were supposed to know sports. Mm-hmm. You were supposed to be able to talk about the topics that you were talking about because you had some knowledge. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of qualified women who do the job. Pretty, not pretty. That's all I wanted you to be, qualified. She was not qualified, in my humble opinion. And if it wasn't for her face and her brother, then allegedly the things that she was doing which superseded all of that allowed her to even stay on the TV.
And so let's get into a little bit of what she was allegedly doing. And what she was allegedly doing was sleeping with the VP in charge of content and I think talent as well.
Yes.
Charlie Dixon.
Yes.
She's married at that time.
Yes.
He's married at that time. The only person that we know for sure as of today who knew about this was her best friend / hairstylist, Nusheen. Because she brought her into the fold to, let her know what was going on. Then at another point, she started sleeping with Emmanuel Acho.
Yes.
Allegedly.
Yes.
And then there was supposedly some plan for her and Acho to host a show together. And Charlie Dixon obviously would have played the part in that. And so you start to hear how this whole history unravels.
Yes.
And what I liked, and we watched a little bit of it yesterday, was the podcast episode, excuse me, folks, the podcast episode with Marcellus Wiley and Jason Whitlock, who were the host of Speak for Yourself. And then
it was doing very well.
It was doing very well. But Whitlock wasn't offered a contract with more money. He stepped away. Marcellus Wiley ended up being offered some other things, as Marcellus would put it. They knew he would turn down. So he ended up going in his own direction as well. But when you start to see the timeline played out, these things were already being done.
A year and a half ahead of time, they were setting up for him and her to work together, and then for her to branch off on her own.
Yes.
And do her own thing. Again, I'm not mad at your girlfriend, because but the whole reason for the lawsuit is because Nasheen, the hairdresser, said she was
sexually harassed
as well. And then to unveil all of the backdoor sleeping arrangements and things that were being maneuvered that people didn't even know about it. And now they go, oh, well, that's why that happened.
Exactly.
So,
because you had at one point at a Christmas party going through some of the documents, breezing through it. Excuse me, I didn't sit and just go every page like I'm an attorney, and then listening to some other folks talk about it and being interviewed about it, so on and so forth. There's one moment at a Christmas party where Charlie Dixon comes up and puts his hand on her lower back and, does his thing. And she goes to Joy about it. And Joy, in essence, hey, get over it.
Yeah.
I'm your boss and that's my boss.
Yeah.
Almost don't make any waves type thing. So, and don't let me forget this part too, where Nusheen, when she finds out that Acho is now working at Fox and goes to Joy and says, hey, I just saw Acho in the building. Oh, he works here. And now we're going to be trying to do X, Y, and Z. And then she tries to advise Joy to be careful because Charlie Dixon is very powerful. And according to the documents, paraphrasing, Joy's retort is, well, I'm powerful now too. Because if he tries to do anything, I'll just say he forced himself on me.
My question for the boss, Charlie. Fox just got exploded 2 years ago with the same situations. You're 50-something. There is nothing that a 25-year-old is interested in you at all except for the come up. And you dummy fell right for it.
Dummy.
Your career's over with, bro.
Hand up your ass, dummy.
You're done. And if you're married, that's done.
Unless there was an arrangement.
Just the embarrassment alone, though, is going to cause... I don't understand why.
I'm with you.
Why you keep doing this? Like, it's...
I always find it humorous for powerful rich men to put themselves, to volunteer to go into a trick bag.
Yes.
When there's plenty of ass to be had on the street.
You didn't have to. You're still the VP of whatever, of Fox Sports 1. Like, you're making good money. There's plenty of people out there for you. You don't have to the shit where you eat. I don't know when folks is going to stop shitting where you eat.
Yeah, I don't quite get it. I want to go ahead and roll in Acho because we kind of already started to. I want you to kind of get where you want to get with Emmanuel Acho and
simp is a word that I didn't fully understand. I was like, I don't quite. If it was in a dictionary, it would be this dude.
Oh, wait. What if we did like a remix of Too Short song? What's my favorite
word? is because all of this stuff comes out now.
He's an idiot.
That and the greatest woman to doing this job ever is yeah. There's another one where he brings her out and she has a red dress and he brings her out. And I'm like, dude, I know that Shady has to be lighting him up right now. Like, dude, come on. You fell in love with the
stripper.
Yeah.
Look, when it comes to Manuel Acho, you and I have been talking about this dude for years.
Yes.
And I don't want to say just you and I, because I got other friends who've been talking about this dude for years. He is the biggest phony.
Yes.
You
being nice. You're being nice.
Okay, how would you put it?
Can I say bitch ass?
You can.
Bitch ass.
Okay.
He is a bitch ass. He is I don't know if he's an Uncle Tom, but that would be another description that I would go, I could believe it. He just shucks and jives and stop it. Him and his brother both. I'm tired of seeing the whole gums.
Oh, Sam Acho?
Nobody smiles that way.
No, and the glasses.
Again, and it's always, well, I'm the intellectual and I'm a man of faith. Bro, you're a person and you made yourself look like like you never got none before.
See, look, all jokes aside, when it comes to Emmanuel Acho, why I do not care for him is a lot of reasons I don't care for many people who are similar. Emmanuel Acho is always looking to have himself look like something he is not.
Yes.
And because you throw 3 or 4 syllable words into a paragraph and you try to speak slow and use your hands to do this, whether you're talking about football,
yes,
does not make you any type of genius.
He played the game.
No.
But it doesn't make you a genius.
He played the game, and I'm not taking that part away. I'm talking about the way he wants to present himself.
Yes.
There are many people who play the game who we watch all the time, who talk about the game, explain the game, who are not trying to come off as something else.
Yes.
This dude, between this and the video series on YouTube,
yes,
the uncomfortable conversations with white people or with a black man, whatever it is.
Yes.
You're not breaking new. I talk to white people every day and have conversations with them every day. I got one that lives next door to me right now in his mid-70s who is a diehard Trumper. Mm-hmm. And he's a great neighbor. And we have conversations that you guys are like, I can't believe you even having that conversation. So there's nothing, you're not breaking new ground.
Yes.
With it.
And he made it seem as if he was.
Yeah, and the world did.
Yes.
And then the world allows him to come off all of a sudden like he's this professor of some sort on all things.
Yes.
So that's what I'm talking about.
He's the spokesman for all black people. He drives me insane with the...
Yeah, he got elected now.
Yeah.
Yeah, watch out, Sharpton.
Yeah.
Acho was on your ass until now.
Yeah. Now he's a sip.
Simp.
Yeah.
What's my favorite word? Simp.
Yeah.
That is
just.
You wrote Sam Acho into it too.
Yeah, because they both 2 peas from the same pod. Stop. Just.
I love the fact that everyone has been clowning Acho about that video that he made in his car.
He didn't do one
till he took it down.
No. There's more than one out there.
Oh, is there?
Yes. This is what I'm saying. The one he did in the car.
Yeah, that one. There's
another one where they're live and he calls her out.
Oh.
And I was watching it. I have to send it to you. And he's like, yeah, the greatest sports women. And she did such great work and amazing. And she comes out and I'm like, dude, did she just give you some in the back room?
Here's a crazy thing with this. You and I talked about this yesterday. We've been watching ESPN for a long time.
Yes.
I've never seen Dan Patrick do that for Linda Cohn. I've never
seen what's Shelly's last name? The basketball lady. Sorry.
Who you talking about?
The knows the basketball.
Oh, you talking about Doris Burke?
Okay, Doris Burke.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No one does this for Doris Burke. You know what I mean? No one did this for Malika Andrews. Yeah. She was Rachel Nichols. I've never seen this done for anybody, between anybody at any point in time. except for these two people.
Yes.
And so it also lends itself to, why would you do this unless there was something happening between the two of you?
Yes, because this is something that doesn't happen. So you just...
And then it comes out that they were living together during COVID.
Yes. So, again, there's going to be a connecting of dots. I think Nasheen, they're going to settle out of court. Here you go. Oh, yeah. And if I'm Marcellus, y'all need to back the truck up to me too.
Yeah, that's probably one of the best things I heard Whitlock say in a long time, which was, he said, I don't think I have anything, but you may have a possible case.
Yes.
And Marcellus did say some lawyers have reached out to you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Y'all gonna pay me. Listen, I'm getting paid.
I'll come back to get the money.
Yeah, I'll come back and get the money.
Because you screwed me.
Yes. I should have been the next darling or the next dude. And he said, I thought they just moved in a different direction. Mm-hmm. But now I see this was a plot and a plan. And then for Acho, like, this 50-year-old, 60-year-old dude was hitting the same girl as you 3 months earlier, if not the same time. Stop, dude.
And here's the other thing with Acho, and then I want to move to the next big player, unless you have more.
No.
Is Marcellus tried to look out for you, bro.
Yeah.
He tried to put a big brother arm.
Yeah, and never dogged him out ever.
And didn't dog you.
No.
You're right. Never dogged him out.
And he had the opportunity to.
With his own show and everything.
Yes.
He never did. Always called, that's my dog. That's my dog.
Yes.
And you the whole time was just sniping my man in the back.
Okay.
And you and I talk about loyalty all the time. And we're huge on it.
And this is why I saw somebody talking about Diddy, not to pull it off, but a whole different direction.
No,
but they were saying this is the world's karma for all of the dirt and nastiness that you do. And to go back to Cat, he said 2025, a lot of people is going to get exposed.
He did. I just said to someone the other day, I said, oh, that's the one thing I hate.
Yeah.
Because Cat Williams said this shit on the Club Shay Shay.
Yeah. And look how many people are getting exposed in the end of 2024, the end of 2025. Since he said that, there's a lot of people getting, as they say, pulled off of them.
You and I, and I don't know how many people out there are, again, let us know in the comments, or as Marcellus father would say, beat it up in the comments. We are just big on loyalty, and that is probably my biggest. Yeah. Outside of the shuffling over this woman because she has a vagina, and all the other things that you do, and the phoniness, and the trying to come off like you're a professor at all times, no loyalty.
No.
And you would stab that man. And as much as you, and I'm going to say this because you wanted to bring it up, as much as you want to give all the praise to Joy Taylor because she's a black woman, you would stab another black man.
Yes.
In the back.
That opened the doors for you, that helped you along the way, that was willing to give you free game. Mm-hmm. But
you couldn't do the show with them. You had to have it for yourself. And now we see why you need it for yourself.
Because you need to bring her. Yeah. And you knew he wasn't going to play with it.
There was no room for him.
Yeah.
You guys, your plan was for the two of you.
Mm-hmm. But not understanding that the plan was for her, not for you. Her plan was for her.
Yes.
And you, the dummy, said, "Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that sounds great. Why don't we do it together?" And then, so allegedly, because they broke up, she had to go somewhere else, and he had to go somewhere else.
Oh, I didn't hear that part.
That is my understanding
why
of
they split.
Yes, why she took her show and he took his show.
Yeah, because she was done with you.
Yeah,
it's time to move on.
Yeah, I got what I needed.
It's time to go. Like I said, when she popped up out of nowhere, the first time I saw her was sidekick to Colin Cowherd. Mm-hmm. And then when Colin wasn't there, I think they would let her host the show from time to time.
Yes.
And then she went from that to here to there to there. And I think Jason Whitlock said at one point they were trying to get her onto the show when he was there.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, thank you.
No.
Skip Bayless, who we're getting ready to get to next, had actually declined to have her on his show, on Undisputed. But as a favor to Charlie Dixon, he said, okay, I'll take her.
Yeah.
But he didn't think she was...
No, she's not talented enough. That's what they were saying, is that she doesn't have enough talent to hold the position. So you can only distract me with your face and your boobs for so long.
I thought you was going to do it.
No,
Jason Whitlock.
the
big hands and the peanut butter skin.
Yo, he said it like 12 times. I was like, dude, stop. Yes.
Only because you, bruh, every other breath you're talking about Christianity and everything. I don't think you get to talk about a woman's big hands.
Yeah, and don't call them big hands and peanut butter skin.
How many times do you need to say it? She's been showing them for 4 or 5 years. We've seen them.
Yes, we know what those big cans look like. We don't need you to say them big cans and that cocoa butter or peanut butter skin.
Peanut butter skin. Yeah, she's useless. And you're right. We are seeing it.
Yes.
They covered her up.
Yes.
I'm interested in seeing how she looks going forward.
Listen, you can't. I think that you have to again, Skip is gone. Acho, you probably got to put on a whole big hiatus if you can ever bring him back. But you can't bring her for now.
Okay.
Again, when that if they don't settle, because who else are they going to put in front? They can't put Shady up there because Shady doesn't know how to.
I guess I'm trying to figure out James Jones. Maybe I don't know who else they would put.
No, they're not. He's another.
I don't think they have a lot of talent.
Yes,
they don't have a lot of talent.
Yeah.
So I don't know who they would put in there. You're right in that point. I guess here would be my question. I'm assuming they do, but here's what would be my question. And if they do, you're probably right. Moral clause.
Yeah.
If there's any type of moral
there
clause.
definitely is. Again, first of all, there's always you can't, the same thing that they fired the dude from Boston, the coach.
Oh, yeah.
So the head dude is definitely gone.
Yeah.
And then how do you leave her around if you fire him? Because who wants to work with her? I don't trust her.
I wouldn't.
Like and you got a dirty hot box, so I don't want none.
Look, again, I wouldn't want to be like Jason Whitlock, who's not my favorite. Like I used to be a big Jason Whitlock fan of his writing, of his earlier times on ESPN when he was on the sports writers, the sports reporters, and things like that. Then he got a little bit out there. Now he's way too far out there.
He made a hard, crazy.
But I understand it because he works for the Blaze.
Yeah, he's
super conservative, super Christian.
Clicks. Again, he serves the pool that he wants to serve. He's serving them great.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, 100%. So I get you got to get it where you get it. But he big hands and peanut butter skin. But I'm with him in terms of what he said he learned from his father. And that was, you don't sleep with the women who work for you because the minute you do, you work for them.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, again, Charlie Dixon put himself in the trick bag. And Skip Bayless, it looks like, put himself in a possible trick bag too.
But Skip, my understanding from the people that know Skip and kind of pay attention to Skip is ultra competitive. And it was a competition, which is why, again, him and Shannon crashed and burned, is because he wanted to compete with him. Like, I know more, I'm better, I'm this, and always has got to one-up you type of dudes. We all know somebody who does that. Mm-hmm. But you're trying to one-up a dude who, again, you're married for 50 years. You can't one-up a dude who's single and,
and still doing it.
Yes,
doing what it takes.
Still running in the streets. Like, you it's not a competition.
And and to Skip's credit, he does work out as well. But you're still trying to compete with a dude the size of Shannon.
Yes.
Who works out the way Shannon
who's a Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer.
Yeah, who dresses, who has game. Again, you don't have the game that a young dude has.
Right.
So why are you trying to compete with him? I don't know, but
so Skip gets caught up in this lawsuit as well because it's stated in there that he offered Nasheen $1.5 million allegedly to sleep with him.
Yes.
And so now it's been a lot of, why would Skip do that? I can't hear Skip. I can't see Skip doing that. Jay Crawford, who used to be on Cold Pizza, First and 10, I want to say with Skip. There's been so many versions of these debate shows that ESPN has had. But Jay Crawford, who used to be on this show, told a story on another pod where he and basketball. Page and Skip, they were all in a room talking about whatever. And Skip says, I've had more sex than anyone in this room.
Yes.
Which is funny. And you and I talk about this stuff. And Jay said it the same way you and I said, what are we in middle school?
Yeah.
Who cares? No one's talking about that. But to hear Skip say that to a group of his contemporaries and try to have that discussion lends itself to what you're talking about and to some people's theory that Skip is just very competitive.
Yes. And Marcellus actually said it in a way that he was like, he does the same thing. He's regimented. He does the same thing, and he's ultra competitive about everything. And if you ever watch him in the debates, like, he doesn't like to lose the debate.
Yes, right.
So he's always going to try to one up you with something. And the theory is that he was in competition with Shannon because he thought that Shannon, and he's a hater, because anytime that you speak to a woman and automatically the other person thinks, oh, you got to be sleeping with her. Like, you're not sleeping with her, but you can have a conversation. So that's that hater inside of you that, I see you going over there, bro. I see you, what you doing. You see me doing what? I had a conversation with the person.
Well, even if the dude is flirting, it doesn't necessarily mean they're sleeping together.
Yes.
And I have no idea about it. But again, Whitlock spilling the beans, or his beans anyway, says that allegedly Shannon has a HR file that's very thick because he was known for saying things to the women down in the different departments.
Yes, but Skip actually said something on air, and this is what I heard also, was that one of the other ladies at this show that was, on various different shows, he said, I saw you coming out of Shannon's.
Yes.
So these are things that, again, I think that Nasheen has a case because she went to HR twice.
Yes.
So for me, I know how to play the game. And if I go to HR and y'all don't do nothing about it, I'm just counting money.
It is, and you're right about that. We didn't even touch on that. So all the pages of this suit, she has times and dates and names and went to HR and all these. If you were teaching a class, a master class, actually, how to do this,
yes, she did it. She got it.
And I'm saying this because from my mother to my Jewish step pop, Steve, to Dave, people of a certain time frame, they know how to put the paperwork together. What's the name of that department? The EEOC?
Yeah.
EEOC. If there was a class taught on how to get your shit together at the EEOC and bring something against your employer, Nasheen took the class.
Yes. But they made it easy. And this is the problem I have, is that Fox just got hit 2 years ago, 3, with a massive. Yeah. So you would think that at the EEO department or HR department, somebody would be like, yo, cut this out, man. We can't allow this toxic environment. It's going to blow up. But it was like a boys' club. It was like a junior high school class where they would just
100%.
Look at my pee-pee. No, look at your pee-pee. What?
And look, I'm petty. So the 3 people who are caught up in it, I'm fine with it. Joy, I told you I don't like her. Emmanuel Acho, now why I don't care for him. And then Skip. Skip was fine, except for I always thought Skip was faking and using black folks to keep himself up and keep collecting the check.
But shut up, dude. What are you, 75 years old, listening to rap?
Yeah.
Stop it.
Driving a vet. Like Skip was in a perpetual
mid-year crisis, midlife crisis.
Midlife crisis.
Yes.
He's 25 years late. He's still living a midlife crisis, driving a vet.
Stop it.
And listening to Lil Wayne music. Yes. If you believe that. And wearing a gold says Skip.
Yeah. Gold chain that you wear. I wear this every day. Stop it.
Yeah, you don't wear that every day.
No.
I can't wait to see where we go next with that. But best believe if it gets juicier, we're going to keep talking about it.
I settle out of court. Settle now.
But you got a chance.
Because all of that's going to become, like, there's so many other people that are going to get, oh, you know what? I can get some money too. Because it was a breeding ground for this behavior and this atmosphere to go on.
100%.
So if I worked there, I'd be like, hey, I had to hear that, so I need to get paid.
And now Stephen A. has popped himself into it and trying to defend people.
Shut up.
Just be quiet.
Shut up.
But if it gets juicier, keeps flowing, we're going to keep on talking about it. Next topic, Switch.
Yes.
I'm going to be honest. When Switch passed away, was it 2 years ago now?
Yes.
I didn't know who he was.
Mm-hmm.
I was not an
Ellen DeGeneres. Yeah.
show watcher, so I didn't know who he was. I knew that when he did pass, it affected a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like everybody
Genuinely loved guy. Like
like every other person you met.
Yes, was like, oh man, he was a really good dude. He did this for me. He did that for me. It wasn't an ill word spoken about him.
And not one until now.
Yes.
So we're gonna get into it. So we're about 2 years after he passed away, Switch, and his wife did a People's Magazine. I'm gonna lead with that, so you're not in the dark like I was initially. She did a People's Magazine interview where she discusses, I think I wrote a couple of things down here, where she says she came upon some revealing, surprising discoveries.
Mm-hmm.
And she talks about going through his literal closet and finding different drugs. And what the things that she did find, she didn't know what they were.
So I had to look them up.
She had to look them up. She had no idea what these things were. And I had my feelings about it when I first heard the audio on the Breakfast Club. That's where I got this. That's where I heard this story first.
Yes.
And I was like, why would she be putting her husband's business out? That's not necessary. Then it went on further where Switch's family and friends kind of came to his defense. And then you get to hear some other things, such as his family has not been really allowed to see the kids.
Mm-hmm. They had to sign
an NDA in order to go to the funeral, including his own mother. You found something today where his mother has finally come out and said something in defense of her child and said, I'm paraphrasing, I tried to be quiet for the sake of my grandchildren so I could see them, but I will not let you,
disparage my
son's memory and that type of thing. And so I wanted to talk about this because I know where I am with it. Oh, and I'm sorry. The reason she was doing the interview with people, because she has a book coming out, a memoir coming out about her husband who's been passed for 2 years now. I know what I have to say. I want to hear what you guys have to say in the comments, please.
Yes.
Dave, let's start with you. Where are you at on this?
When you first brought it to me, I have to be honest, I have close friends that are related to him.
Yes.
So I didn't want to touch it. And I listened to her People interview, and I didn't listen to it all. So I was like, yeah, okay. She seems like she's talking about mental health and being aware and not understanding what was going on behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. And, how she now can see some stuff. So I thought it was an uplifting piece about mental health and how we need to be aware and help our spouses and kind of ask more questions than we normally might have. Mm-hmm. And then you were like, no, you didn't watch the whole thing. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. And I saw the Breakfast Club and I saw their take of what she said and why she was doing it. And just like them, what's the right word? Disappointed is an understatement. I don't understand how you can throw your husband under a bus that you say you loved. And that was the father of your children.
Yeah, man.
You ran a garbage truck over him. Mm-hmm. He was doing this drug and that drug, and I'm just so naive. I didn't know what was going on. Bitch, please.
Oh wow.
That's the gutturalness. As I started to get more into what she did and how she was saying it and what she was doing to the family, I was like, oh. This is why some black people have the leave them white people alone.
Yeah. Yeah, especially when it comes to black women and white women.
This is why, and if you never understood it, this makes you go, oh, she's trifling. Like, again, I never understand if your spouse is famous, you signed up for them being famous. Mm-hmm. It's not your turn to be famous and not off of their legacy and dragging them through the mud.
Yeah.
It puts such a bad taste in my throat of she's going to get what she got coming to her at some point in time. And I feel bad for the family not being, I've never understood a parent not wanting their grandchildren to go here. That's just, It just says that you're trifling. I don't care what they were doing. I don't care what they said about you. It's the grandparents. It's the cousins. And you might think that they're underneath you.
Look, I said this to you yesterday. The minute, and the day is coming.
Yeah.
The minute it comes, all of y'all are signing NDAs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Including my wife.
Yeah.
And the only person in this story sounds like that needed to sign an NDA
Was her.
Was his wife.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I'll be damned if anybody is going to write a memoir based off of me and say anything. Write a memoir based off of you and your accomplishments if you want to write something.
You could have wrote it about depression.
Go get a job.
About how you felt having to deal with it. Because at some point she even says, yeah, the last words he said to my daughter was, I wish I could have been a great dad for you, or I could have been the Superman you needed. Oh.
Certain things. So let me take what she said and then what you said, the other part that she said. The first part from the clip from the interview. Protect your husband.
Yes.
Even if this is true. Protect your husband. This doesn't need to be out there. Your kids don't ever need to read it. There's no reason for that. The other part, I wish I had been this and that. Some things should be private. Go get a job.
Let the daughter say that.
Go get a job if you need money this bad.
Go swallow some loads.
So
just.
And to the point of where the kids are not being allowed to see his family. I told you this before. When my old man was not around anymore because he was wherever the hell he went, we didn't know. When we would go see my mother's mother, my mom always made sure we stopped by his mother's house too, to spend just a little bit of time with her.
They didn't do anything.
And we were always down in that part of the city. So this was a constant thing. My mother didn't have to do that.
No.
There's no reason, short of there being some type of abuse, that you should not allow the kids to see the other side of the family. Other than this is normally just some vindictive shit.
It's just trifling. If you're not saying, listen, they abused my kids, they did something, or he didn't have a relationship with them, so I don't have a relationship with them. Mm-hmm. But I know the family. Right. So you can't say that statement.
Right.
It's
and the NDA thing is, I found Manny and the piece of it that really upset me was you made his mother sign an NDA.
For what? Like what is she gonna
to see her child put in the ground?
Yeah, or else you wouldn't have let them come. It reminds me of like when Whitney passed away. Just why? She's the one that should have signed an NDA. Yes.
Which should have had her sign one.
Yes.
It sounds like.
I think I'm going to go home and make my wife sign one.
And it also, and it makes you question, and I don't know this woman.
Yes.
But it makes you question on how much she loved this man in the first place. Why do you need to write a book?
And again, when I first started the people interview, I was like, oh, okay. She's, because it's an important topic to talk about, depression, and
she could have posted that.
And she could have did that and wrote about that, and I was unaware. And you could write chapters about that part and maybe gives people some insight on that, and without disparaging his name and his legacy. Oh, well, he was on drugs, and I didn't know he was on drugs, and he did allegedly. Again, for what?
Because I've heard these stories before where the publisher will say, hey, we want to do a book. And what you got? And you go, this is what I got. Well, this isn't juicy enough. What else do you have? Well, I was
I found some weed. Well, we're just going to say illicit drugs.
Bro, the way she made it sound like, because the cousin came out and said he smoked marijuana.
That was it.
Yeah. And he was trying to stop doing that.
Yes.
You listen to her.
Yeah, she's like he was popping heroin and crack. And
I was like, what?
Yeah. I found a bunch of pills and I didn't even know what they were. And he was doing. I don't care if you did find that. This is the father of your children.
No. I'm talking about.
Yes.
Sheesh.
It's the father of your children. Your husband is not. Why? They got to deal with that. They still are in school. Kids are horrible in school. Why would you give them ammunition to speak to them if you're so concerned with your children? No, Mom, you missed me on that one.
And you're right. When you first hear her speak, you do feel like she's trying to go in a direction where she may be trying to help people.
Yes.
Because I think when it happened, everybody's like, I don't know what he was going, was he going through, what was happening with him, whatever. So it sounded like she was trying to go in that direction at first. And then it was, oh no, I'm just dumping.
Yeah. Yes. Again, the first part of the thing, I was like, okay, well, I could talk about it. I don't have a problem with it because she's not dogging him. And then, yes, she did dog him. She did drag his name, his legacy. And again, because of the people that came out when he passed away, I call bullshit. Because your true you is who people know.
Okay.
And you might have been going through some things, but the way that you treated everybody for drones and I was like, damn, I didn't know he was that famous. I didn't know who he was either.
I didn't know.
And for the amount of people who came out and was like, yo, this dude was an amazing person. He was a great dude. We loved him. And then she talked about, the videos we made and we're dancing as a family. And then you, as a family, you say, oh yeah, he was this and he was
Bro, there were women that I got to meet and heard women say, who were married women, had the biggest crush on Twitch. Was like, yo, if I could push this dude off a bridge, I would go be with Twitch. You know, that type of thing.
Yes.
He was just beloved. And I'm saying that as a guy who did not know who he was.
I didn't know that some of my close friends, that was his nephew.
Right.
And when I was like, I didn't know the dude at all. I never, because I'm not a...
I don't watch the show. I didn't watch the show. I mean, a couple of clips here.
To be as loved as he was, and then for you to say, well, that was all a facade. No, there's not, again, if there was 2 or 3 people, if Ellen said it and that was it, drones of people came out saying how great he was. So I call bullshit on the play when you come out and you're trying to sell a book. And the only thing that you thought you could do to sell a book was to drag him in the mud.
And not to mention, if you're married to the man, you got kids with the man. You ain't gonna tell me he has a closet anywhere you ain't been in before that.
Please, I can't go to the bathroom by myself.
So you're so full of BS.
Yes.
Dave, will you pull up that audio for me real quick? We're gonna get into our last segment and then get the heck out of here. If you've watched the entire show, thank you. If you just watched this clip, thank you. But this is a little something new that I want to try to bring to the show every week.
Steven
and let Dave play this
Sonny.
clip here. Let me know when you're ready.
Mistake, and she didn't seem too happy about it.
Like, for example, when you talk about the LGBTQ community, I'm a fiscal conservative and I'm a social liberal. I'm fiscal with my dollars. I ain't apologizing for not wanting to pay high taxes to anybody. But outside of that, but you had folks on the left
Uh-oh.
that were introducing some things when we got in the whole transgender issue, and they were talking about bathrooms, or they were talking about males transitioning to females and competing against girls in sports and stuff like that. These are
That's less than 1% of the population.
that's where the mistake is made.
Yeah.
You're saying it's ridiculous, but most of the voters out there don't think like that.
But that means they don't have the information.
Okay, but 90% of the voters don't have the information. If you're out there busting your tail to make ends meet and to pay your bills, and you're going to work every day, and you got a family to take care of, you don't have time to know what you and I know.
Maybe you need to listen
and
to the
others.
news when you're in traffic.
Well,
All right, so we can stop right there. So this new segment I want to try to bring every week, if possible, is called No Comment. And sometimes we're all guilty of it. You start talking when you shouldn't say shit. And we should all probably just say no comment. And Stephen A., who gets on my last nerve more often than he doesn't, should have said no comment.
Yes.
The fact that you would sit here and say that the 90% of the American public, not saying all of them vote, a lot of them do, don't have time to know what you and I know, but still go out there and get to push the button, pull the lever, however you want to look at it, and excuse them for not knowing something. You should have just said no comment, because you sound like an asshole idiot.
Yes.
And tell me that you voted for Trump, no matter what you say in public.
Yeah.
Tell me you voted for Trump without telling me you voted for Trump.
Yeah. And again, I thought I understood what he was trying to say. And this is when it's really frustrating in that when you're making a point, but you don't button it up or you just leave it hanging and you allow, again, of all people,
Sonny Holston,
the layup, if you're trying to say that the Democrats did a bad job of explaining their policy, hands down, thumbs up. That's not what you said. They don't have time to watch the TV and they're not as intelligent as us and they're too busy, doing this and that. So they don't have any understanding of what the government is talking about.
Because they can't walk and chew gum at the same time.
Yes.
So
no comment, as you said. This is the no comment. That was a no comment. Just say nothing. Say less, as they say.
I know, sir, you want to be Shay and Joe Rogan and
all of the
all
above.
the smoke,
Yes.
the pivot.
Yes.
I know you're trying to play catch up and you want to be them. So you've been all over the place. Fox News, The View, your show which I don't think you do a good job of. Your show that you do on YouTube, First Take. I know you're trying to do it all. I know you're trying to be that guy. But hey, man, there's nothing wrong with taking your big face and using it to say no comment.
I don't know enough about it. I can't speak on that. Again, because you have to, Stephen, you have sponsors. You have your lane. You're trying to catch, as you say, play catch up. I think he got a podcast with his cousin or something like that too.
He's doing something with his, I think he's got his nephew coming
Yeah, horrible. Again, I don't think that's your avenue, but you're trying to make it happen. I'm not mad at you.
Hey.
But you still have to understand that at some time that this is a road that I don't want to go down. What did they say? Politics, religion, and
politics and religion.
There's no winning in. I know we talked about the orange dude earlier, but
there's no attempt to win.
Yes,
but should be an attempt to sound as if you are educated on the topic.
Yes,
and to say what you said. I said it to you before we started the show. You sound as if you're just regurgitating someone else's talking points.
Yes.
Which is why you could not button that up.
Yes.
Which is why Sonny Holston, for anything you want to say about it, is a very smart woman.
Yes.
And she's an attorney.
Yes.
So for you to try to sit next to that woman, try to have this conversation, and the best you could come up with is say, well, 90% of the population, because they're working, they got kids, they got this, they just don't have time to be as informed as you and I. Just say no comment, bro.
Yeah, because it sounded stupid.
Moron.
It sounded definitely. I like that segment. I think
like that. No comment.
Yeah,
we're gonna do that again. Hey guys, thank you guys for watching this week's drop. I've been Sidney.
David Greaves.
This is David Greaves. You guys have yourself a good week. We'll see you next one.
Peace, love, and soul.
Dr. Caduceus is gonna kill you. See you guys.